probably know, Mr. Rogers of Jeremiah Avenue has passed on. What a nice man he was, calling me by my first name Maxine and always asking how I was. He'd stick his head over the fence and we'd have a good chat. Anyway, a reasonably young man has moved into Mr. Rogers' house and he keeps to himself, this one does. Every day at 5:30 when he comes home from work, he goes down to the small wooden shed at the bottom of the garden and instead of hammering and sawing as any man should, well, like Mr. Rogers, he brings out his big hawk or falcon on his thick glove. And I tell you, this man's a worry. He's quite short for his age and dresses casually, and he doesn't seem to be able to say very well, but he brings out his hawk, as I said, and he feeds it with lumps of rare meat. The meat is tied to a string, which he swings round his head like a cowboy, and with his bird flying low over Hills Hoyt, feeding meat, well, it's quite a worry, I tell you that. We haven't ever seen a hawk in Jeremiah Avenue, and I'm not sure a hawk belongs here either.
I suggest that something is done about the state of affairs before someone gets hurt.
Dear sir, it has come to our attention that you have a wild bird in your keeping. We presume you are aware of the regulation and restriction regarding the private housing of a hawk of any kind of the various diurnal birds of prey of the family falconite, having the characteristic curved back, round wings and a long tail. Briefly, it is against the law in New South Wales of any private individual to keep such a creature in captivity of their own property. We therefore order you to hand the bird over to the National Parks and Wildlife Service at the soonest possible opportunity. If you do not complete this order within the month, you will be liable for a large fine and may be subject to prosecution. Yours faithfully, Jason Morris.
Recently, I received a letter from the council offices ordering me to get rid of my prized possession, a kestrel hawk. I've had this kestrel since it was a young bird. I first saw the bird in Bowral towards the end of last year when I was staying on a local property. While working with the horses in the paddock, I became aware of a young hawk fluttering above me. I watched it hover and then swoop down on the next field to catch a field mouse. One of the farm's working dogs also saw the bird, and, before I knew, it had bottled over and nipped the kestrel on the tail. The kestrel made a desperate attempt to get free. I restrained the dog and tried to free the bird. Although this is a long process, as a hawk is never completely tamed. She lives in a strong, well-built shed in my back garden. Here she remains during the day, tethered to a block. I would like to know how she could possibly be a danger to anyone.
I wish to write in support of Mr. Jennings. I admire him for keeping a costly hawk in his back garden. He has every right to keep a bird if he looks after it properly.
I think it's shocking that a man who sees himself as a civilized person is happy to keep a magnificent wild hog in a small enclosure away from his natural habitat.
I had a special relationship with an animal myself several years ago. It's amazing how animals can give you so much love and understanding when you treat them right.
How good it is to see a person like Mr. Jennings being prepared to spend time and money exploring the skills of the ancient art of falconry. I have a good mind to go over to Jemima Avenue and release that beautiful hawk from its horrible cage.
He has every right to keep a bird if he looks after it properly.
Who sees himself as a civilized person, I think
He
it's just
has every
that a man
right to keep a bird if he looks after it.
What are you doing? No, where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Go home, little bird. Fly away.
Last Saturday, the 5th of September, police were called to disturbance at 16 German Avenue that proved to be more than just a routine investigation. They found a laying man with blood trickling down his face, limp on his forehead, and a nasty gas at the back of his neck. Neighbor Maxine Walker called the police when she heard fighting and screaming coming from her neighbor's backyard. The police found the body of a young woman laying across the street. Mrs. Walker told the police that Mr. Jennings kept a hog in shed in his backyard. The bird.
Is this really happening?
The bird is nowhere to be seen.